And now we move on to our second leading story. The Kenyan Electoral Commission, IEBC, has questioned the possibility of holding a credible presidential election on the 26th of October, while the opposition called for demonstrations on the day of the election. The announcement from the IEBC has cast doubts on the possibility that the October 26 rerun will hold after the cancellation of the August 8 presidential poll. Earlier on Tuesday, an election commissioner, Rosaline Akombe, resigned and left Kenya, saying her staff was facing intimidation and threats. Africanews' Michael Oduor and Uzezi Ugwe have been following the latest developments in the Kenyan electoral process, and they filed in this report.
The head of Kenya's Election Commission, Wafula Chebukati, has said it will be difficult to guarantee that next week's presidential election will be free and fair, citing divisions in the commission and interference from politicians.
I've made several attempts to make critical changes, but all my motions have been defeated by a majority of the commissioners. Under such conditions, it's difficult to guarantee a free, fair, and credible elections.
The remarks come after Rosaline Akombe, one of the election board's 7 commissioners, quit and fled the country, saying the vote will not be credible. Recent protests by the opposition has plunged the country into high political uncertainty. National leaders and political analysts have called for urgent measures to be taken to resolve a contentious rerun of a presidential election to be held next week.
It's essential that all the parties recognize that it's not feasible to just ram ahead without consensus, without consultation, and perhaps they need to back down and speak to each other rather than at each other.
Meanwhile, the opposition leader Raila Odinga has called for mother of all demonstrations on 26 October, the date scheduled for the election rerun. The demonstrations will go on, and on 26 October, we will have the biggest demonstration witnessed in Kenya. Opposition leader Raila Odinga was due to face President Uhuru Kenyatta in a repeat of the presidential vote held in August, which was annulled by the Supreme Court on procedural irregularities. But Odinga withdrew from the repeat poll last week, saying the election board had not carried out reforms demanded by the opposition, throwing East Africa's largest economy deeper into political uncertainty.
At least 40 people have been killed since the election, most in the brutal repression of the demonstrations by the police, according to human rights groups. Considering that his requests for reforms on IEBC have not been met, Raila Odinga had announced last week he would not take part in the ballot of the 26th of October. He says that his withdrawal, which is however not formalized, should lead to the annulment of the ballot organization of fresh elections. A solution rejected by President Kenyatta.
Barak Muluka joins us now over the phone from Nairobi. Thank you very much for joining us, Barak. The Electoral Commission's announcement seems to have given a new twist to the situation that we have currently in Kenya, and this comes just after the resignation of one of its commissioners. Barak?
Thank you very much. I think what has happened is that this morning, the country woke up to the news that one of the commissioners, Commissioner Dr. Rose Akombe, had abdicated, so to speak, that she was on her way to Dubai, apparently to check on the printing of the repeat election ballot papers, and somewhere along the way, she rerouted and went to the United States of America, where she happens to be a dual citizen. And while there, she really dropped the bombshell, saying that she no longer found it tenable to continue serving on the commission because the commission was compromised in her words, and that the commissioners had taken a political side. She also did not see the possibility that the country could have free and fair elections, both from the perspective that the commission is not adequately prepared internally, and also from the perspective that the prevailing political climate in the country does not augur well for a free and fair election. And finally, she said that she was also worried about her life, which she believes to be in danger because she says she has been threatened a number of times.
Barak, it was definitely the day of the big revelation since the commission chairman also spoke to the press, right?
The chairman commission, Wanyonyi Wafula Chebukati, has more or less fired a warning shot that he does not believe that he is going to stay there any longer because he thinks again the environment is not right, and he was particularly citing the internal environment in the IEBC, the commission, that whenever he has tried to reform the processes to ensure that the playing field and the environment is now favorable to a good, credible, free and fair election, that fellow commissioners have always tended to stand in the way, and therefore he too does not believe that he can assure Kenyans that the IEBC can deliver a credible election.
Alors, il a été évoqué
What can be the alternative to all this?
Quelle pourrait être l'alternative à tout cela?
As Barak, I think you invited the dimension of wishful thinking, and my personal wishes would be that the commission, the now should go back to the Supreme Court and report to the court that we are not able to conduct the election in the manner in which you told us within the period which you gave us and which the Constitution also gives us. So please give us guidance. And on the basis of the doctrine of necessity, I think the court should be able to give guidance the way forward towards maybe a credible election that could be conducted within a slightly longer time from now. Otherwise, if everything remains the way it is, the country is going to sink into chaos.